And we're good and we are live. Come on, come on. Nothing but love, nothing but respect. You know what we do, what we don't, what we is, what we isn't, and what we is here today. New World Supernova, I'm Jade. We've got Eggs for Brekkie, aka Daniel here today. Daniel, say hi. Hello. Oh, actually, let's try that again. Say hello, hello, because I had you muted.
Oh, hello, hello.
Hello, hello. See, I picked it up early this time. Not gonna have any mute streams anymore. I'm thinking. I'm
The
evolving.
tech lord now.
Yeah. Presses one button and becomes the king of it all. So we haven't done a discussion for a minute, even though I keep promising to do them, just because we've been so running off our feet as of the moment with just everything that's been going on. But we probably haven't done one for a fair few chapters now, at least 3, 4 chapters. But
Hmm.
fry me out. This is not. Is this? This isn't just a good chapter. But this actually has me sort of questioning whether or not the Beast Pirates are sort of lost here because there's only one of the Topiropo potentially left standing at the end of this chapter.
Yeah. I mean, this is it. Before this, I wasn't really concerned with any of the fights, like the minor fights. I just didn't really care that much. I just wanted to see the All Stars fight and Kaido fight. But now, like, it was a genuine good fight that we saw from a Togoropo here, and I was like, now I'm like keen to see more. I'm keen to see what's going to happen with Brooke and Robin.
Dude, I'm gutted because I wanted more from Who's Who. Page one and Ulti, I was like same for the longest. It's like it's okay if they go down because they could always get back up really weakened and just do that a couple times. I know people might be like, ugh, they've already been beaten like 6 times, but it's like you got to think these ancient zone users are supposed to be ridiculously durable, and we're yet to
Yeah.
see anyone on the Beast Pirates crew have an awakened zone. So like you gotta think to yourself, it's like, do you think anyone on the Beast Pirates is stronger than like Devil Fruit skill wise than a member of the Impel Down Guards? Because it's like if they can do it, why can't one of these guys be awakened? Do you know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
I'm hanging out for it. I'm dying for it. I'm just like, bro, even if it's only Kaido, because and we'll get to this later, but it's like I love the Straw Hats. The Straw Hats all have broken abilities, but some of these dudes, the whole thing behind their fruit is they're just more durable and they've got a healing factor, and we're just not seeing it.
I feel like we need to see, um, like, we need to have some kind of explanation as to why the people of that prison were awakened because they weren't that good and they were awakened. And, like, the only people that we've seen to be awakened is, like, Katakuri, assumedly Crocodile, um,
Dofi,
yeah, Dofi, yeah. And it's like, and those people had their fruits for, like, decades and they were very, very good with them. They knew exactly what they were doing. And so, like, it seems like awakening is a really, really difficult thing, like, very difficult to happen. Like, you could go your whole life and be like a hockey master and just never awaken your fruit.
mm.
Um, and so, yeah, I don't know. I kind of understand why people don't have awakened fruits, but I don't understand why the people in the prison did. So,
So the people in the like, I could see it, and the problem is it needs to be trickled out a bit more for some of like the Topiropo. Like if one of the Topiropo and one or two of the All Stars has an awakened zone, but Kaido didn't, or if
yeah,
Kaido has it and one or two of the All Stars have it, it's just like because to me, right, you could explain it away as the same thing that's happened for the whole story with the Marines and the world government, where it's just like they've like you got to think about it. The world government streamlined a bunch of like exercises to be able to learn Haki. That's pretty busted. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So it's like if they can streamline learning Haki and then not just learning Haki, but they've got the 6 powers, which are like the ability to learn armament Haki and to be able to take it to the next level with a bunch of universal skills that even if like you can incorporate in your own unique way, but it's like the fact that they've got like these base teaching methods. I wouldn't be surprised if they've got like a member of the world government that's like really on the nose with devil fruits, right? Like we know Vegapunk knows all about devil fruits. Maybe Vegapunk's like told someone in the world government, it's like, yeah, if you want to awake, like the only way you can sort of force an awakening is with a zone, and you just got to sort of meet these criteria, and they're just able to like train people in specific skill sets to force an awakening with their zone.
Yeah, I could see that being a thing.
Like, I don't know, it's good and bad, but all right. Do you reckon we should just start from the beginning of this chapter?
Let's do it.
All
We
right.
have to do this mention to that big color spread.
Yeah. Okay. So the Where's Wally color spread is amazing. I started freaking out for a second because I was like, oh my god, it's just Wano people. If there's people that aren't in Wano in here, does that mean they're going to come to Wano? But we've got Sanwan Wolf. We've got Sanwan Wolf. We've got our Kiji. We've got NL. We've got Perona. It's just like, I feel like there's too many of those people or factions would just be too hard to juggle now in this arc.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've got Gaimon. Everybody's favorite guy that's stuck in a chest. You remember Gaimon?
Yeah, he was best.
Dude, love me some Gaimon. And we've got Bon Clay and Buggy. Oh, I've just seen Buggy. Hello? Buggy's just to the right of Bon Clay, all cut up. Oh, yo, and we've got Marco there. See, the longer I look at this spread, the more I'm just super impressed by it.
Yeah, you just keep finding more and more and more people.
Mm.
I see Caesar there.
Caesar. Ooh.
Caesar's like in the middle below Drake. And to the right of Music
Apu?
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check your... Oh, okay, that's another thing. Dude, Apu hasn't gone down yet.
That's true.
When are we when are we gonna see X Drake versus Apu? Because like Apu's been there banging his chest like the absolute Kong of a man that he is. Just like, come on, man, I'll throw hands. I'll throw hands with any and everyone. Dude, we also need to see Killer versus Hawkins. Yo, are we starting to get to the end of the Straw Hat fights just so we can start moving on to some of these other people fight? Because I feel like coming off a Topia Robo fight down to like Apu and down to Hawkins is like, you know, some people might say it's like stepping up in entertainment, but I'm sort of just like, dude, these guys were on the crew and they just weren't sort of respected as much. They weren't given any titles. So I was like, are they better? Like,
Yeah. I see it just being like every chapter we're gonna get a little clip of Luffy and his recovery, a little clip of Yamato holding off Kaido, and then a lot of a fight that's going on. Maybe a little clip of, so far it's been a little clip of Usopp and Nami, and then a lot of a fight that's been going on, and it's a different fight every chapter. That's kind of what's happened for the last couple. So I'm thinking the next chapter will be Brook and Robin as a main focus, and then just a little bit of Luffy, a little bit of Yamato sprinkled in.
So think of this, right? Someone mentioned this in the live reaction earlier, right? What if the Straw Hats all win their fights and go up to help Luffy fight Kaido, right? And then my mind immediately jumped to, oh, imagine if that happened, and then the tragedy is that all the Straw Hats go up to fight Kaido, but unknown to them, all their opponents were only down for a temporary period. They all get back up and they defeat the Alliance.
Ooh.
And that's the tragedy. We may beat Kaido, but like we come down to celebrate and everyone else is beaten and all the Beast Pirates are still up.
Yeah.
I'm holding out hope in the worst possible way. I'm telling you, it's got to be it's got to be a 5-act play. I'm hoping. I'm desperate, man. I'm bewitched. All right.
And honestly, like, I kind of see the storyline that seems to be set up right now. I see it being a nice, really good, clean storyline. Like, Luffy gets beat, everyone thinks all hope is lost, and then they're like, no, we believe in him. He'll come back. Message goes out. Luffy recovers. Everybody wins their fights. Luffy comes back and closes it out. Like, it's a good story arc that Oda is like currently going on. So I think if it just happens with no major twist from here on, I would be pretty satisfied with this arc. But there's going to be twists.
Oh, dude.
There's going to be twists.
See, that's the thing that's doing my head in, because it's like we've already had some pretty good twists this arc, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's like, and I don't know yet. I don't know. I can't I can't confidently say whether or not this has surpassed Marineford or not. Because I think in terms of hype, it might not have, but in terms of like good moments, it might have, if that makes sense. Like there's probably
Yeah.
more good moments in Wano in the Onigashima War than there is in Marineford, but the moments in Marineford probably stick out more to me at the moment, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I rushed through Marineford pretty quickly, so to me, Wano's been a bit more involved in it.
yeah, fair. That's fair. All right, let's jump to the beginning of the chapter. All right. We have Queen versus Sanji. So, how long do you reckon this fight has, like, in its repertoire? Is it going to be a long, drawn out fight, or is it going to be resolved pretty quickly?
Well, here's what's interesting. Um, they they showed Queen versus Sanji and all the laser shots. Um, and then later on in that arc, they moved over to Frankie ran all the way to the live stage area before what
Getting
happened
pushed back
happened.
to where Sanji is.
So Frankie has literally just run all the way over to where Sanji is right after Sanji said, "Oh, all these laser beams. Frankie would love to see this." So I don't necessarily know if Frankie's going to like help and be that big of a assistance, but it seems like Frankie's going to get involved at least somewhat in this altercation because he's like right nearby
Okay,
and
okay.
he's just ended this fight, so now he's free to do something else.
Hear me out here, because this is something that's actually been annoying me. And I even mentioned it in the live reaction earlier today. But it actually, now that you've mentioned that, it might flip on itself. We got told that Usopp and Frankie were going to modify the raid suit, and we never saw it modded.
Right.
We all expected the look to be modified though, like for it to get a new design and actually look like one of Sanji's suits. But what if that wasn't it?
Yeah.
What if Frankie was adding stuff to it?
Right.
And so what if Sanji starts fighting Queen, Frankie wins, and then Frankie comes into like sort of earshot of this fight. Sanji's having a hard time dealing with some of the mechanical aspects of Queen, and Frankie's like, "Oh, try this new feature of the raid suit."
Ah, and then you've basically just got like Frankie shot calling Sanji as they're doing the fight.
Yeah.
Like, oh, click your heels together, and he does it, and then like he starts flying.
Sort of reminiscent of
Okay.
like the Nami Miss Doublefinger fight with like Usopp's little like party card of like abilities to use with the climb attack the first time she used it.
Yeah.
But for all we know, Sanji's got a laser in the raid suit now, because we knew it had the ability to go invisible, but for all we know is like Sanji can do some like crazy kick and like get boosted with like a laser, you know, exhaust or something. Like maybe Frankie's seen what they use for an accelerator and has been able to like modify that again.
Yeah, possibly.
Um, it's also interesting that Sanji says here like it's that Queen's body is something that Frankie would like. Like Frankie would like to get his hands on all the tech that Queen has in his body.
Yeah. The way that I see that is like, yeah. I mean, Frankie is a cyborg. Queen is a cyborg. Queen is seemingly a more advanced cyborg. So yeah, that's
Oh,
fair.
I mean, yeah, like
I guess actually maybe I think maybe what the main thing is that I think the main thing to stress is a constant barrage of beams
yeah,
because Frankie can fire, but he needs to use Cola and he can't shoot that many times. And maybe Queen has some kind of power source that Frankie can get.
mm-hmm.
And if he can get that power source or figure out how to generate the beams like
Dude,
almost infinitely like Queen is doing, that'd be really
that's
big.
sort of busted because that's just copying Kizaru's ability without the lack of being able to swim.
Yeah, yeah,
That, or at least in DC, which is impressive.
yeah.
We get this little scene here. Zoro's going to get back up on his feet in the next couple of chapters. I don't stand with the people that want Zoro to get up and fight King. I think that's just too much. If he does that, it belittles King.
Yeah.
If anything,
I don't
actually,
see it. I
if
mean, it belittles Marco because Marco is currently fighting King.
it belittles Zoro, really, because if Zoro gets up and can fight King, then it's like, why didn't Zoro at full health just get up and take out King before going to Kaido? Just a low diff.
Yeah, that is true.
It's like
Yeah, that's
when
true.
when they were in the live stage and stuff like that, like when Zoro was getting like, you know, tired from fighting gifters, why didn't he just like one shot everyone and walk through them? You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
give him.
Like, unless they come out with some kind of sensu bean that just like instantly regenerates him, I don't see it ever happening.
Mm. And I feel like it would be bad if it did. We've also got Luffy desperate for meat for that super heal up. You know what he does, what's good for him. But can I just
By the
point
way,
out?
actually, I wanted to mention this. I wanted to mention this. So I've been watching this YouTube channel recently. It's this guy who's just like he reviews like fantasy books, and he's been reading One Piece, which is a little bit out there for him. And he has this phrase that he keeps using, which is Luffy is a force of fucking nature,
Yeah,
and it's so true.
yeah.
And he's only at the start. And I look at this right, and they're literally saying, I don't think we can save his life with basic first aid. We need the surgeon, like the godly surgeon, to come in order to save him, or he's gonna die. They're talking about giving him injections and stuff in order to save his life, and then he just wakes up on his own accord, and he's
Just
like,
like meat.
"No, just give me meat, and I'll just regenerate."
So okay, we're on the flip side of this. You're like Luffy's a force of nature, man. He just needs his meat and he's clean. I'm sitting here and I'm like, dude, you guys are a crew of doctors. You've got like your captain's one of the best doctors in the world. We've seen you guys performing surgeries on the ship, and you're sitting here going, "Oh, I only sort of know first aid." Do we, a dude's drowned. Am I supposed to inject him with medicine? Or am I supposed to like pour
I
medicine
literally
down his
think
throat? It's like, dude, you're supposed to be a crew of doctors. You should know
No.
not to drown him more.
Literally think it's Law as the doctor and his entire crew are nurses. they
Mm-hmm.
just they just prep the surgery room for him to go
They're
in and
not
do it.
even they're not even combatants. They're just nurses. The only combatants
Yeah, literally.
Beppo, Sachi, and Penguin, and that's only because they've got knives on them. Sachi and Penguin have got knives on them. That's what makes them the combatants.
Hachi and Penguin they're not patient enough to be nurses, and then Beppo can't because he's got polar bear hands.
Yeah, he'd claw him by accident. Uh, So yeah, we cut to the Frankie Sasaki fight. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't super keen for this fight. A lot of people were really hyped for Sasaki being a Triceratops. I kind of didn't care for it. I just sort of thought like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. He's
Yeah,
big.
I didn't see any way that this fight could be interesting.
Yeah.
But I kind of love this fight.
Dude, how stupid but funny. It's so Oda. I was like, Frankie's like, oh, what are you? Like, you're just a dinosaur. What does it matter? And he's like, yeah, but Triceratops are the best dinosaur. And his neck starts spinning. It's like, he's making it sound like a Triceratops can spin its frill like a helicopter. I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're a cyborg then as well. But you're trying to make it,
Literally.
you're trying to play up like you're better than you are. You're just like, yeah, no, look at all these things I can do naturally. And it's like, it's like it's like the Wizard of Oz. It's just like, I am the great and powerful Oz. It's like we can see the wires going behind the steam machine, dude. It's like, quit it.
I love that the canon explanation for why he can do this is the Triceratops is a pretty special breed of dinosaur.
Yeah, dude.
That's it.
Yeah. Oh, no, I actually have a super important question to ask you. Okay?
Yeah.
Super important by my standards. So, you know his Triceratops bullet, or Tricera bullet, where he flies
Yeah.
back and then flies forward and headbutts?
Yes.
What's stronger, that or an ulti headbutt? Ulti media.
Ah. Probably that. It's his entire body weight.
I mean,
Plus
ulti comes...
hybrid form.
Ulti, like, geppos into the air and then comes flying down with a head. Coated in haki and everything. Like, where's Sasaki's haki here?
He's got haki on the tips of his horns. That's why they're black.
Is that haki or is that just, like,
think it
his...
is.
Because I thought it was, like, a beak.
I think it's haki. I think that's him like hakiing up the tips so that it's stronger.
Maybe. Maybe. Either way, it's just sort of like... It's such a stupid fun fight. I like how Oda considers the fact that we didn't see the actual Triceratops in real life, so he decided to make it that way with the helicopter gag. Yeah, 100%. Oda's just like, you don't know. You shut up and enjoy it. You don't know what dinosaurs
I
do.
just love that it's genuinely called a Triceracopter.
Dude, I love that he's got a giant V cut into him. Because, like, I just want to point out, it's it's so BS that Frankie can do projectile air slashes now. Like I was actually like I was almost mad at this that it's like if you think about it, Frankie is now a better swordsman than Brooke.
Oh, possibly. I mean, Brooke's got that speed though.
Yeah, but what's the speed gonna do if Frankie can do a projectile air slash and Frankie's body is stronger than Brooke's sword?
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
fair.
it feels dirty to Brooke and it feels bad saying that, but it's just like, bro, what the hell? I also
Yeah, but I mean, then again, like Frankie's always meant to be kind of strong. He's just sort of been taking a back seat. Like he was as strong as
Oh.
Luffy when he got introduced.
he was BS. Dude, I love the
By the way, him saying I need to get better with my sword skills. Like I need to get better with a sword.
Yeah.
Is pretty cool. Like, is he gonna get trained after this arc? Is he gonna spend like a week or two getting trained by the samurai, and then like next time we see him fight, he's like, I'm better with a sword now, or is he gonna give up the sword completely?
I feel
and figure
like
something else out?
I feel like if anything, the last 2 weeks he got trained to get this good with the sword. You know what I mean? As opposed to him having 2 weeks to get stronger. Because like after this arc, I think we're done. I think like once the sun rises, we might have to get the hell out of Dodge. Like I don't know if we're getting any recovery time on this island after this arc's finished.
Yeah, I think this is one of those rare cases where they straight up need to like conquer the entire island and like sit around for a bit to like make sure the power is established.
I want to say yes, but I'm feeling like it's more like Sky Island, where it's just like they've got the ability to like cement everything, and all the people want them to stay, but they've just got to get out. Like they're just like, yeah, we've got to get going now.
That's good. It's a good example.
So
They really could have stayed at Sky Island, but they just didn't.
all right, so Triceracopter.
Yeah.
This is this like the same as Zoro's Dragon Twister? Where he just sits there and he just sends out a tornado with his frills that just sends projectile air slashes out at people? Because that's pretty busted.
It is pretty. I mean, yeah, he's seemingly just like flying and
Just head, just propelling into people.
yeah, honestly,
It's-
I don't think many people could counter that.
I'm sorry.
You'd have to.
I can't take this serious, man. Like, I really can't take Sasaki serious. I was so looking forward to some, like, busted ass, like, Sasaki just, like, him and Who's Who were just, like, they were going to be, like, the guys. They were being teed up to be stronger than the rest, you know? They're going to be like, yeah, they're powerful. And then I get this. And, like, I'm not mad. I'm just, like, so disappointed in myself for not thinking Oda was going to take a gag with it. You know what I mean? Like, I
Gonna take a gag with everything, man.
dude, it's so good, but it's so bad.
Pushes himself backwards with the propeller. He's like, "Oh, did you accidentally go the wrong way?"
Yeah. And then I also love how he looks blush because he's still drunk, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because he's been on the grog all day, and he's still just kind of like, yeah, boy. I'm
But
just
you
gonna...
can tell why you didn't break this out right away. Hey.
Oh,
You
dude.
want to show this off very much.
Dude, I'm sorry. Who's taking him out? Like, it's like a low, not low. It's like a mid-low diff. Because, like, you gotta think, Sasaki's flying around, he's like, yeah, I'll headbutt ya, I got the neck. And who's just sitting in the back, just like biting in his general direction, putting holes in him.
Yeah, literally.
When Sasaki recovers, I hope he'll end up being Kokoro's son and then help the Alliance. Dude, I really want... I wanted it to come out in this fight if Sasaki was Kokoro's son. But what might end up happening is the next cover series we get, if we get one when Wano ends, right? If we don't get another cover series throughout the whole of Wano, but when Wano ends we get a new cover series, I actually think we might get a cover series of Sasaki going back to Water 7. Because that would be pretty interesting. And like maybe some of the other Beast Pirates come with him. And, like, he takes some of the remnants that want to go and leave the New World back into the Grand Line. And so he might catch up with, like, Kokoro and all that, see that the sea train's been built, because the dude's got a giant conductor hat, and he might be the guard of the sea train eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that might be good.
One thing to point out is Sasaki actually breaks Shogun Frankie here. So
Yeah.
if you come down
But-
to the very bottom, he starts cracking the Shogun Frankie metal, and it's ripping out. It's like
Yeah. So like Shogun Frankie seemingly is totaled. Like he might be repairable. Like he doesn't have to find all the scrap metal, but he would have to change it significantly. And I think what's going to happen is Frankie's going to get another small power up where he recreates this using the information that he learns from Queen later in this arc, which he will. He recreates Shogun Frankie, so maybe a new power source, etc., better lasers. And then he also, I'm thinking either he gets a new sword and learns how to. Well, he gets a new sword that counters his poorness at the sword, or he creates some other weapon so he doesn't have to have a sword altogether. I think that comment that he made of like, "Oh, I wish I was better with a sword," is going to be relevant in some way. So he's either going to get training, or he's going to make like a sword that like follows its target, or something like that.
do you know what would be funny?
Mm.
So Zora's got Enma at the moment, right? But it sort of makes no sense and a lot of sense because like Enma's supposed to be bigger than Zoro in size wise. If you look at the size comparison of Odin and Zoro, right?
Right.
But it doesn't come across that way. But it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But like, how funny would it be if Zoro ends up getting the Nidai Katetsu, gets Shisui back because they're like, oh, you're actually the savior of this country. It's fitting for you to have the sword of the guy that protects this country.
Yeah.
And so Zoro's got like 4 swords now, and he's like, yeah, I want to keep all these swords, but I sort of don't use 4-sword style. And Frankie's like, can I have a sword? Mine got broken. Could you imagine if Frankie got Enma, and then anytime he busts out Shogun Frankie, he does an attack, and he does like one Haki attack, and then he's just like completely zonked out in it. Like turns Shogun Frankie into like a Dragon Ball Bacta tank where he's just healing up constantly because every time he swings a sword, he's just getting absolutely blasted. What if Wapple Metal and the Sea Prism is mixed to have that transformability from the Wapple Metal at the same time and the durability of Sea Prism, kind of like a new alloy in One Piece? I would say yes, but the problem is with Sea Prism.
It seems like it has to be pure
Well,
because they don't make their entire ship out of it. They just plate it
we
with like pure sea prism,
See-
right on the bottom of the ships.
the problem is though, does it even need to happen like that? Because could you just make a sword? Because one of the things that everyone forgets about in Sky Island, we actually find out the chemical compound of Sea Prism Stone, and like in the One Piece periodic table, what count as Devil Fruit. We've had that for like a decade and a half, but it's just like glossed over by everyone. So it's like as if you wouldn't just find out what that compound is. Once you make a sword, just dip it in it. So your sword's as
true.
strong as what you want, but it's also got the ability to counter the abilities of people.
Yeah. Also, what would happen if you had like a little bit of sea prism stone like on like the back edge of your blade and you cut someone? Would you just hit them with the back edge of your blade?
Yeah.
Would it be a blunt attack? Or
Nah.
would it turn their fruit off, and then the sword would already be inside
Nah.
them as it turned their
No,
fruit off?
you'd cut them and their body would separate. Like the metaphysic, like the intangibility would separate, and then the Sea Prism Stone would come behind it as if it didn't even hit it, as if it had already dodged, sort of Katakuri style.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's jump to the next big part. Kaido versus Yamato. First of all, I've already forgotten what it was called, but some people have got some theories for what Yamato's Devil Fruit is. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I
it's
was going to
on
ask you what are the theories.
I might have to pull it up, but I did see. Let me just look over to the left here on Twitter. I apologize for any noise that's going to come through. Hopefully it won't. Just as I scroll through this, I saw some stuff about it earlier. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh, I'm going through so much of this stuff now. Can't even see it on there. But I think it started with an N, like a Neri or something. Of course, Twitter doesn't want to show me. Oh. No. Oh, here we go. And of course, the only one I find right now isn't in English, so let me translate that. No, not in English. Man, I feel like I'm doing my. I should have done my homework. I should have had this on tap on ready. You know what I mean? I can't find it, but it's a Chinese mythical creature that's sort of like a mix between a horse and a dragon.
Ah.
And it's got the ability to control lightning, I think,
Yeah. Okay.
which is interesting. All right, I'm officially given up. I can't find it, but yeah, chat, let me know if you can find what it's called. I can't find it off the top of my head. But I just want to point out something here that's kind of filthy for Zoro fans. Kaido's already healed the scar that Zoro gave him.
Kaido what? Already healed the scar.
It's either an editor error. Ah, Kirin. Thank you, chat. It's a Kirin. I'll pull a photo of Kirin up.
Oh.
You know what a Kirin is, yeah? Oh,
Yeah.
or a Quillen, depending on how you want to. Yeah.
Brilliant.
So it's a chimerical creature, which Yamato really does look like that. But interestingly enough, Kaido is trying to acquire this fruit for a certain reason that we don't know of. Right?
Yeah.
So this fruit has a purpose for Kaido's agenda. And it's not something that he had the ability to give to any of his commanders or Tokyo Robo, so who was it meant for?
Right. Okay.
Because, interestingly enough, we still don't know who's Yamato's parent. Like, Yamato's mum.
Wait, I'm thinking. No, I thought this fruit was for Yamato. I just think she wouldn't have eaten it. So Kaido just kind of put it next to her until she ate it when she was hungry. That's what I sort of think it is.
Well,
I figured it was like Kaido got it for her intentionally, but like she wouldn't have eaten it because she was like a moody kid, right? Like she didn't want to do it. So yeah.
well,
Basically just like
what Kaido says here is, I went through a lot of trouble to get that devil fruit. Did you really think I'd just let you use its powers freely? So, okay, yeah, no, I guess you're right. Maybe that's more implying, like, he's not letting Yamato go all out, so he's countering her before she can do damage to him.
yeah, I think he's doing something to like suppress her from using her powers.
Well, if she controls lightning, so does Kaido, so that's a bit of a nerf there.
That is true. That is true.
But,
Maybe because he's a dragon, he's like the supreme being.
either way, it's a sick devil fruit. I love Yamato's design here like crazy. But, it's interesting to say the least. And like I said, if you look at Kaido's torso here, he's healed up. So Zoro, either an editor forgot to bring it up with Oda that like Kaido's supposed to be a bit bloodied up from Zoro, or Kaido's already healed from Zoro's attack. So, sorry Zoro fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm hoping. I don't know. I think Zoro's done enough, right? He got hyped so hard when he did all that stuff on the rooftop. I think he's had a good enough showing. I think he's very impressive. Like he's good enough.
Dude, okay, this is my favorite comment. Right? I'm pinning this comment. Many of the Yamato fan base being teased about how Yamato becomes a furry since they didn't want Carrot to join the crew because she's a furry.
Yeah, that is true.
Swapping furry for furry. It's like, oh, you don't want that furry? Well, let me swap you with another furry. Even furrier. So okay, that's this chapter. Did you have any any thoughts or predictions for the next chapter? Because at this point in time, I got no clue what would happen or anything outside of like swapping to another fight, which maybe next chapter's Brooke and Robin versus Black Maria.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's Brooke and Robin versus Black Maria. I think they're just gonna slowly go through things and like tick off boxes, and every chapter they're gonna show a little bit of Luffy, just slowly recovering, so it doesn't seem like he's fully recovered out of nowhere. Because the thing is like if they show him recover a small amount every chapter, it'll make it seem really realistic if he comes back and he's almost at full health. But if they just show him coming back at full health out of nowhere after a few chapters of not seeing him, it's going to feel really cheap. So they'll keep showing a bunch of Luffy. They'll keep showing all these other fights and how they're wrapping up, and then Luffy will come back and yeah, we'll see how it goes there.
I can see that. So yeah, I reckon next chapter, a little bit of Luffy, Black Maria versus Page 1, and then what might happen is, because this chapter started with Sanji versus Queen, we might get a little bit more of Zoro getting up from after having this shot. So we might start the chapter off with Zoro sort of getting up, but him just being like running off into nowhere. It's like, oh, I've got to go do something, and he just sort of runs off. You know what I mean? Because I still think Zoro's going to come back and take out Orochi with Hiyori, because we still had no idea who, like, we got teased that Hiyori was on the island, but we still haven't seen her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
here's a fun thing that I just saw on Wiki. In the post-Qin dynasty, in the post-Qin Chinese hierarchy of mythological animals, the Qilin is ranked as the third most powerful creature after the dragon and phoenix.
Ooh. We in
So this
mythical
is actually ranked as the third most powerful mythical creature, other than the two other most powerful mythical creatures,
which
that
are
at
both
that.
on the island. Oh, that's good
Yeah.
though. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh
wait, hang on. And then it says, but in Japan, the Kirin occupies the top spot. So Kirin, as a name, is what the Japanese call that same species. The Japanese take on it. So it actually could be number one.
So it could be equal to Kaido's here, which is why Kaido's gone hybrid straight away and is trying to keep her nerf from going all out.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. It's fitting though. Ooh, actually, I didn't even notice this. If you look at her fur, or the smoke coming off it, is doing the same wisdom god sort of look that Luffy does in Gear 4, where he gets that sort of wing, or that sort of cape of smoke.
Yeah, right. Like the Wisdom King or whatever it was.
Yeah. Interesting.
The other thing is that it's in Korea and China, it's like based on words for giraffe, and it's considered to be like partly giraffe. Whereas in Japan, their take on it depicts it more like a deer or like a unicorn, like a dragon shaped as a deer.
Which explains why she's got horns.
Yeah, so it seems to me to look more like a dragon shaped like a deer than a giraffe, right? So it seems like they are going for more like the Japan route, which would put it as the top spot. And the reason it's the top spot is because this species was ranked higher before the Qin dynasty. So the Qin dynasty, which is like one of the more recent ones, changed the ranking to put the dragon and the phoenix above it. But before that, it was in the number one spot. So Japan sort of goes with that ranking from before. So it seems like where it's placed, either first or third, is in pretty hot contention. So it could be that the take in this is that it's stronger than the dragon.
Ooh. Would it be funny if Chopper becomes fond of Yamato because he might be a Kira? Ooh! Yamato and Chopper. Nah, Chopper's got his bae, the deer girl that's the assistant of... Milky, the model. I stand by that. Chopper's got to go back to Zoe and be like, my dear. Literally, his dear. Brooke will see Black Maria has no panties, although he doesn't have eyeballs. See, if Brooke goes, "May I see your panties?" and then realizes she doesn't have any panties on, I reckon she'll snap, because like the big thing about Sanji when he was in front of Black Maria, she was like, "Oh, you're really cute because you're sort of shy around girls." But if Brooke's the opposite, where he's like, "Oh my god, she's got no panties," she might get super pissed.
True.
So that'd be interesting. All right. So that was this chapter. I might dive back to last chapter, to the Who's Who versus Junbei fight, because we never got the chance to talk about that, and I don't really think I've asked you much of your opinions on that chapter since it was last out. So let's go back, do a bit of a catch up. All right, everybody want that? I think I do.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. So, CP0. I keep forgetting about CP0. When are they gonna do something? And what are they gonna do? Do you reckon they're gonna wait until the very end and try to wipe out whoever's left? Because, personally, I think the most strategic thing here is for CP0 to kidnap Robin.
The thing is like, are they the kind of organization where if they're like, oh, it's a bit of a risk, I don't think we should really do that, we'll probably lose, let's not do it? Or are they the kind of people that it's like, oh, Luffy is Joy Boy, he needs to die now, we probably can't kill him because he's still pretty tough, like he's not that injured, but we're gonna give it our best shot and just send it? Are they the kind of people to be cautious or to be
Okay.
aggressive and shut him down?
I could see them being super cautious and then this happening, right? Imagine if all the Beast Pirates get beaten and so people move on with the fights, right? But the Beast Pirates start to get up. Who's starting to recover and is about to get up. And then CP0 are just towering over him and finish him off.
Yeah, okay, right.
So, they're like, they go to finish him off. We get some, cryptic message where, the last thing that Who's Who says is, "This is because of Sun God Nika, isn't it?" And they're like, "How dare you say that name in our presence?" And then take him out or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that.
Then, I feel like they need to try and go straight for Robin. Screw the winner of this war. It doesn't matter who wins this war. Take Robin. They can't read the poneglyphs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I know CP9 already tried that sort of stuff, but it's like, if I was CP0 here, I'd be silencing snitches and getting rid of the most valued people here that they can get away with without it causing any issue to them. Because they realistically should be able to take out Robin, you'd think.
Yeah, they definitely should be able to. My question is, how the hell is Black Maria going to take on two, Brooke and Robin? They're not that weak, are they?
Well,
surely not. I could see it if it was Nami and Usopp, but surely they'll just wreck her. If Frankie's winning, if it was an ultra hard fight on every front, but Jinbei hard won his fight. Frankie didn't hard win, but he won his fight.
Well, Brooke and Robin versus Black Maria, you got to think Black Maria should have spider webs and stuff like that. Is Brooke gonna get caught in the spider webs? Because if Robin gets stuck in spider webs a bit, she can't use her ability properly, right? Whereas
if she doesn't have her arms,
yeah,
if she can't cross her arms.
But what if Brooke just speed blitzes through it all?
That's what I mean. I kind of see Brooke as being able to do that, dashing through, cutting everything, being able to see the thread in the last second and then strike it.
She's also naked at this point in time. Remember, she took her top off and she had that giant monstrous pinwheel that she was about to start smacking people with. But it's when she was fighting the first time around, she put brass knuckles on and boxed. So it's sort of she doesn't have something to counter a sword.
Yeah, that is
so
true.
It's
also, out of everyone, of all of the Flying Six members, she's one that may genuinely have a mythical devil fruit.
Well, no. It's a ancient zone. It is confirmed an ancient zone, but we don't know how it works because it could be like a special ancient zone with like the fact that she was half spider, half human when we saw her.
Yeah, that's what I mean. She seems to be some kind of like
Different.
magical beast. Yeah.
Hmm. It's sus to say the least. So okay, we're on the fourth floor here. We've got Who's Who versus Jinbei. Who's moonwalking, and then does a fang pistol where he sends out a projectile air slash with his teeth. Right. Jinbei arm it Haki's up and deflects this thing. Right. So then Who's Who sends a barrage that we then see going through multiple floors, and it actually rips off someone's arm. So if this hits fodder, it like severs them completely. It cuts them to pieces. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Jinbei's actively using Haki here. Actually, do you know what? I might give me a second. I might actually set this up on the Viz, just because I want to get some of the translation on point here with this in terms of wording. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Da, 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 da. One Piece, one wish. Alright. Here we go. So. Here we are. So, going through the dialogue, we have Who's Who start moonwalking. Jinbei goes, so are you saying you bear a grudge against Luffy? Technically, my grudge is against the man who stole the gum gum fruit from us, Red Hair Shanks. So, I think painting a bit of a more solid picture here, right, is being able to say that we knew that Lucky Roo is the person that physically stole the devil fruit, but I feel like Who's Who had to fight Shanks while they stole the devil fruit, right? Which was sort of like 12 years ago, Shanks did what Luffy did 2 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Which, it's a good, comparison. We get a projectile fang pistol here. Like I said before, Jinbei blocks it with Haki and deflects it, but it still cuts through his Haki, which is something to remember that Haki doesn't completely negate against sharp objects. Luffy used Armament Haki against Haughty Jones, and Haughty still bit through his skin. So there is like a limit to the Haki. You know what I mean? Like, non-Haki things can still penetrate things with Haki if it's at a certain point. If that makes sense.
Wait, it just occurred to me that Who's Who and Lucci were both the quote-unquote prodigies
Yep.
of CP9, or of just the agency in general. And that would have been 12 years ago, because it was when the fruit got stolen that he got arrested
Yep.
and put in prison. So, like 10 years ago, was when so like 10 years later is when Luffy actually fought Lucci, right? Because
Yep.
it's been 2.5-ish years.
Yep.
So, like, Lucci wasn't just like an up and coming prodigy right at the start of his career. He had been a prodigy for over a decade when he fought Luffy.
Mm-hmm.
So, damn, he had 10 years of growing with essentially an entire government agency considering him like the new prodigy of the new all-star, probably giving him the best training he could possibly give someone. And he still got stomped by Luffy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, hell, Luffy's one hell of a person to get stomped by, though, isn't he?
Because, I mean, I kind of looked at Lucci as being like, yeah, he's like this grand prodigy, but like maybe he's actually only been in like CP9 for like a year or two. And like before that, he was just sort of training in like general government training programs, and then he entered into CP9.
Not.
They realized he was a prodigy.
You weren't reading the manga at that certain point, but there is cover pages and stuff like that, and like SBSs where you see Rob Lucci as a kid and he was training in CP9 on like they've got a specific island. It's based off this place in in China, this tower, where they're trained essentially from near birth. They're like orphans, sort of Big Mum style, that are taken and just trained up. And so he was a prodigy from that aspect. But you got to think, Who's Who was a prodigy, and then at 14 years old, Rob Lucci took out an island that had been taken over from pirates and killed all the slaves, right? All the captives, right? The captive marines and that. That's when
Yeah.
he started being like regarded as a prodigy, and that was like, I think he was 14, so that was like 15 years ago, something like that, 16 years
Yeah,
ago.
right.
So it's like Rob Lucci was like, half this guy's age, but they were both regarded of like the same potential with what they were displaying at the time. Which,
Honestly, knowing that now, it makes me feel like CP Zero was just way weaker now. Like, if they've been trained since birth and this guy's a prodigy and he's been like a prodigy for 14 years or whatever, he still gets stomped on by Luffy. That's pretty sad.
yeah, a little bit. I mean, like I said, if done right, you got to think. Paper body, right? If
Yeah.
you had good observation haki, right? And
Mhm.
I'm not talking about it like an extreme level. Like, if you just had good observation haki and paper body, you're essentially a Logia. If you use like your finger pistols and stuff like that, on top of that, like, you got to think, if you couldn't hit someone and they're just able to like literally morph their body around you, and then they just flick their finger and it like does like 10% HP each time they hit you with it. You know what I mean?
That is true. Yeah. If you get like godlike at those five powers, they are like it is like a really deadly skill set.
It's just unfortunate that like even Who's Who here, you got to think Who's Who was a prodigy, but he stopped 12 years ago in getting trained. So you don't know like if they've made the training better, more streamlined, or what. And technically, since Who's got this devil fruit, do you reckon he had the devil fruit now or back when he was in CP0? CP9.
I would imagine it would be similar to Lucci. I'd imagine they would have both been given fruits.
Well, that's
That
that's funny. The Sabretooth goes extinct, and then the leopard takes its place. But if not, you got to think like Who's Who might have gotten. Who's Who might be like. Who's Who's abilities might be the same as Rob Lucci's pre-time skip, if you think about it. In terms of like, Rob Lucci had like the finger pistol and stuff like that. We didn't see Haki pre-time skip, but we know that the CP9 members have Haki, right? So for all we know, he was using Haki when he was saying Iron Body, because on the Viz here, Jinbei, where are we? Jinbei specifically says that. Where is it? Where is it? Or was that from? Was that from the chapter before this? Maybe.
Sure. Wait, what's this? What are you looking for?
The Jinbei talking about Haki.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I'd sent it to you at one point though. You know the part I was talking. Oh. No, that's not it. You know the part I was talking about though, where it's Jinbei sort of taunting Who's Who because Jinbei uses Haki and he goes, "This is Iron Body, right?" You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
the fact that Iron Body and Haki are the same, but technically maybe Iron Body could be taken further than just regular armament, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, either way, it's like you could look at it that Who's Who is as strong as Rob Lucci post time skip, or Who's Who might have sort of capped at Rob Lucci pre time skip if he hasn't developed. You know what I mean? Because you got to think like Rob Lucci still has like the backing of the world government and that, and is still getting heaps of buffs and stuff like that. And realistically, outside of doing these like fang pistols here, what did Who's Who do here that was more impressive than Rob Lucci pre-time skip? Like he might have
That's
had.
the thing. Like, all he's done is add more utility to his kit. He hasn't like actually like made it more potent.
And
And I think that's the difference. I think what Lucci will have, because he's actually been taught more, is he'll actually have like more potent techniques and more, yeah. Whereas he just kind of has Husu's just kind of like expanded on them by like being able to do it with more parts of his body and stuff like that.
well, I mean, like, think of it like this, right? Um, Who's Who might have had the ability to do more damage because of the Fang pistols, so he might have higher DC. But in terms of durability, right? Jinbei sort of only lands a handful of attacks on him and takes him out here.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like,
Jinbei seems to be more of a tank than like an offensive dude.
and
like,
more than that, like when he goes to do finger pistol on Jinbei, he breaks his finger because Jinbei uses Haki.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like that probably wouldn't have happened to Rob Lucci pre-time skip. Like, he wasn't going to break his finger on Luffy. So, like, you know how Rob Lucci was stabbing Luffy, but because Luffy was rubber, it didn't really stab him. It just sort of went through him, but still hurt. I could dare say that, like, the finger pistol pre-time skip still had Haki on it, the same that we're seeing here. And it would have been doing the same sort of thing. It just didn't sort of penetrate as much, maybe? You know what I mean? But then Jinbei eats a Soru to the face and a Fang pistol, like a Fang pistol to the face, which, I mean, it's Jinbei. He's, like, got the highest durability. Like, does Jinbei have the highest durability feats in the story?
I mean, he got run through the chest by Akainu, so yeah.
Like, he got run
the
through,
only one who has greater is Whitebeard.
but Whitebeard died.
Died.
And, I mean, Whitebeard lost half of his face. Jinbei doesn't have a giant hole in his torso.
Yeah, and as soon as Whitebeard lost half of his face, there's no saying that he would have survived if the fight ended then. You know what I mean? He just kept going. It doesn't mean he would have lived.
Like, Jinbei might actually have the highest HP in the story outside of Kaido.
I mean, like, Luffy has a permanent scar from that fist that went through Jinbei's torso, and Jinbei is living a fine ass life.
Dude's got blubber. Dude's set. Dude's made. But yeah, if who's taken out there, the Demon Brick Fist, like, I mean, hell, getting punched point blank in the face by Jinbei would be ruthless. But it's like, what does more damage? These few hits that Jinbei landed, like a roll, a flip, and a punch to the face, or everything Luffy did to Rob Lucci pre-time skip?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, there might not be much of a difference between Rob Lucci and Who's Who. You know what I mean?
Like, back then, Rob Lucci and current Who's Who, yeah.
And I mean, like, look, Rob Lucci back then to now, there might not even be much of a difference outside of just, like, we see him using Haki more proficiently. And, like, Who's Who...
So, I think we have to be fair to him. He was fighting Jinbei, and Jinbei was just handling him really easily. Like, if he was, like, for example, if Jinbei was fighting Sasaki just then, Sasaki would do that head spin and dash at him, and Jinbei would just, like, grab his head and just smash it into the ground.
Yeah.
Like, he would just put his palm out and just catch him, his entire body, and then just push him into the floor. So I think Jinbei just made him look really bad. I think maybe, like, if he was fighting Frankie, for example, like maybe those like tooth bullets and things would have actually been taking chunks off of his armor and stuff like that. Like,
Maybe.
potential there.
It's...
So it might have just been a bad showing for him, if we're going to be fair to him.
Yeah. Like, look, I had a lot more hope for Who's Who. Like, it was so memey when he had that little finger... that mini sword.
Yeah.
That was such a little... That was a meme, though. It was hilarious, but it was a meme. Alright. I've just gone back to the chapter before to try and find... Yeah, okay. So we have here, chapter 117. 1017. Should I call this Iron Body, then, when Jinbei blocks Who's Who with Arm and Haki? Those are the 6 powers, the fighting abilities of the government agents, which reminds me... And then he goes on to talk about Who's Who's past. So, dude, this fight for the most part, finished in 2 chapters. And it was half of 2 chapters.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, Who's Who lasted longer than Gecko Moria against Jinbei. So,
That's true. That's true.
R.I.P. Moria. you know? But,
Oh, I think we should leave this for one more chapter if we see Black Maria fighting. But I eventually want to ask the question of, now we're gonna rank Toby Roppo
oh,
first to last. But let's wait on that. Let's wait on that. Till we see it all.
I feel like I could still answer reasonably confidently.
I don't know where to place Black Maria is the problem, because she won't be pure physical strength.
Should be
She's a
tricky.
spider. She's like thin, right? So she'll be tricky. So the idea is if the trickiness is effective, or if it's just dumb memes, and she would get shat on by like almost everyone. So it's hard there, right?
Are we
'Cause
counting
Sasuke
Drake?
could like annihilate her. Yeah, we'd count Drake. We'd count all 6.
Shit. Okay. This might be filthy to hear, but I think I'll make a prediction right now based on what I think. Number 6 is Page 1. Okay. Number 5 is Black Maria.
Okay.
Number 3. Wait, I've just got to think of who they are. So it's Who's Who, Sasaki, Page 1, Ulti, Black Maria, and X Drake. Right. So, okay. So we've got Page 1, Black Maria. Then I might get roasted for this. Then I think Sasaki at 3. Sasaki's the halfway point, the bottom half. Then I think it's Ulti. Then X Drake. Then Who's Who.
Okay, so you still rank him number 1.
Yeah, I still rank him number 1. Like, I mean, what has any of the other Toby Roppo done comparable to him?
I think it's funny when Sasaki said the reason the Beast Pirates are feared is because of the 6.
Yeah.
Because of the flying 6. And we've just seen them get all just absolutely annihilated. To be fair, they're fighting the Straw Hat crew, and although not everyone in the Straw Hat crew is a Sanji or a Zoro, they're still all machines. Like, think about they are weapons.
Oh yeah, but like,
So yeah.
my reasoning for this, right? Who's got the best betrayal out of all of them? Yeah. X Drake reasonably should have the second best betrayal out of all of them, but I don't think X Drake was a prodigy in the Marines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So X Drake just sort of comes in second fiddle because he's got all of this. You know, he should reasonably have some of the 6 powers, right? He's got an ancient zone. He's got his own fighting style. He's a sword mace master and a rapier javelin master. You know what I mean? Like he's got skills with it, right? The reason I put Ulti next after that is because I think she has probably been showcased to have the highest durability out of the Toby Roppo.
Yeah, might I add, one thing that I found to be kind of annoying is like Sasaki going down so easily. Like, I thought the way that a Triceratops should be fighting is it should be a slugfest to try to eventually wear him down.
That
Like, he should be an absolute tank. Like, his neck's as big as his body, and the thickness of one's neck must relate to their durability.
Yep.
In my opinion, with character design. So
the power of the neck.
Exactly, neck gains. Like, I mean, look at Kaido.
Look at Who's Who. He's
Guy's neck.
got a giant fluffy neck.
Yeah. So that's the thing.
But you got.
I don't know. I'm a little bit annoyed that he got beat. They got taken down so quickly with like one cannon.
Okay.
I thought it would have been like I thought if anything, if you said those two are fighting, how does the fight go down? it would have been like
So
Frankie runs out of cola, just spamming him
Okay.
with abilities, and it just
let
doesn't
me
do anything.
let me put this in perspective, right? Sasaki went down from a cut on the belly, and then a laser beam to the belly. That's essentially what took him out.
Yeah.
Right. So he took an admiral level attack to the belly, like in terms of like relative strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So Ulti took 2 of Big Mum's stronger attacks, got up and kept fighting. She copped Zeus from Nami, and was like dusted after taking multiple other attacks from other people.
Yeah, yeah.
Ulti by far has the highest durability showcase out of the Topiroko.
She got headbutted into the floor by Luffy before all that as well.
Yeah. Like she's got the feats. You know what I mean? She's got the feats. She deserves the love. But right after Ulti, I said Sasaki. Sasaki was like supposed to be the second strongest, but it's like dude just didn't come through. He was a meme. Like he's a funny guy, and he took some tanky hits. Like it took an admiral level attack to take him down, but it's like at the end of the day, he got oosed, right? Black Maria is going to ultimately be taken out by Robin and Brooke. So, no offense to those guys, but they're not packing a punch as heavy as that. And like I dare say, Robin will probably like beat her by binding her up in some capacity, being a
I don't know.
spider and all.
I think Robin and Brooke aren't very good at dealing with the other Flying Six members because they don't have like raw force. But I think Robin and Brooke are very lethal.
Oh, no.
Very, very lethal.
They are very lethal, but I
So,
just
I think they're an incredible matchup against Black Maria, and I think they're really, really strong. Like it's hard to see them beating the other dinosaurs just because the other dinosaurs are like just physically monsters. But like in like a fight against another normal human being, I think they are really, really,
Oh, no.
especially Brooke. He's a machine, that man.
I 100% agree. Like I definitely know that they're absolute beasts of people, right? But I just sort of think at the end of the day, they don't pack as heavy of a hit, right? And I still think that Black Maria is going to go out from them pretty easily. Like I think her thing isn't as much durability as it is she's just like got some finesse to her. And then page 1,
I think it'll be just as easy as the other ones, as the other people that we've seen. And I think like I don't know, she's 1v2ing.
Yeah, no, okay, yeah, she is 1v2ing.
I honestly kind of see her as like one of the more main ones. I mean, like she's like Kaido's mistress, kind of.
Do you know what's creepy about that?
Hmm?
She's a year older than Yamato. That's just me.
Yeah, but I mean, Kaido things, right?
I mean,
In the world of pirates, when you've got someone who's a Yonko, you'd think that'd be bound
hey,
to happen.
when your best buddies are Orochi, you're not a
Just look at
scumbag.
Leo DiCaprio.
Dude, when your best friends are Orochi and that dude's running around having like playboy sex parties at the Shogun Palace, it's just like kind of just looks like a decent stand-up guy. But yeah, like I think that's, you know, facts for all of them. Who's Who went out from a punch from Big Mum though. Like he got done in a little bit from Usopp and Nami, but like
In page 1.
page 1's a baby out of the group, and like Sanji dealt with him earlier in the arc as well. And that's not me trying to downplay Sanji, but it's just sort of like he got slapped about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, page 1 has done nothing but being a big dinosaur. That's like it.
Yeah.
He's shown no significant haki or skills or abilities of any kind. He's just a big dinosaur, and he smacks people with his tail. That's it.
I'll tell you what are the last five numbers?
Is there 5 still up?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do.
And
They haven't played any kind of significant role. They
The-
hyped them up so much.
the 5 that are
I was
left,
so hyped when I saw the first like panel of them.
the 5 that are left are 1 through to 5, I think. So maybe these are the stronger ones?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe they're gonna be for the winners of the Tobiropo fights. And so they're already tired, and now they have to fight another person.
Maybe.
I don't know. Because, like, my thought is like it seems like all these fights right now are wrapping up while Luffy's recovering, but then I'm left with so what are they all gonna do when Luffy gets back and starts trying to fight Kaido again? Are they just gonna stand around? They're not gonna go up there because then it'll be the whole like Kaido could just attack them instead of attacking Luffy, and Luffy has to protect them, and so they wouldn't do that. So are they just gonna hang out and be like, "Well, we hope
Well,
Luffy wins"?
Big Mum Pirates might show up and just keep the fight dragging out, except this time everyone's tired,
Yeah,
but they've got double the numbers on their side.
yeah, yeah.
You know, it could be
Yeah.
taking out the Big Mum Pirates, but in like 2v1s. Rip Big Mum Pirates.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Do you think Orochi will die, or will he have his own cover series like the other villains in One Piece? I think Orochi gets killed at the hands of Hiyori and Zoro together. I think Hiyori's on the island, right? And that's who was trying to heal up the scabbards before that Kanjuro showing up as Odin thing, right? Because we saw a female figure. I think she's on the island, but she's trying to stay out of view because she's just trying to avoid all the conflict. I think with Orochi running down the corridors now, alone and unguarded, she will come across. Hiyori will come across Orochi, and Orochi will lose it because he'll be like, "You're supposed to be dead. What the hell's going on here?" And she'll be like, "I'm the daughter of Lord Odin." He will flip his metaphorical and physical shit. And then I think just at the last second, Zoro will save her. And then whether or not Zoro kills Orochi or Zoro gives Hiyori one of his swords and will protect her so she can kill Orochi. Like, I know that might
I've
be a bit
completely
dark.
forgotten who Hiyori is.
Momo's sister. Kumurasaki. The number...
The chick who lost her arm and is dead?
Nah, the number one prostitute in all of Wanostan.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I kind of melded those two people together in my brain.
Yeah, no, so she's still around. She said she wasn't going to come to the fight. She was just going to hang out on Wano while everyone fought, right? But we had a silhouette when the scabbards were healing up that looked identical to her, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so it doesn't make sense for me considering she voiced to Zoro she wants to kill Orochi earlier in the arc. It doesn't make sense for me for Orochi to have now been defeated by Kaido and to have been defeated by all the scabbards to live
Yeah.
and not get punishment. But I feel like punishment needs to come at the hands of either whoever he's thematically tied to, right? It could be Momo, but I don't think Momo's goal is to get revenge on Orochi as much as it's get rid of Kaido and take over Wano and lead it, right? Whereas Hiyori had to live through the 20 years and suffer Orochi's rule, working with Denjiro in the, like, you know, lady houses and whatnot like that. So I feel like she needs to be the one to have her narrative close with Orochi, but so does Zoro because Zoro acted as the protagonist of the Wano storyline. Because this whole...
So you think Orochi will outright die?
Yeah. By the
It's
end of
not
this arc.
common that people actually die in One Piece.
Yeah. Like I said, I think he's got 8 lives. 7 lives have been taken. Right? Last time we saw him, the scabbards took down his heads and we hadn't seen him since, right? I think he's going to get up again and he's going to run into Hiyori and Zoro. And so Zoro is going to protect Hiyori from Orochi, but he's also going to give her the opportunity to get revenge for her father and kill Orochi herself. You know what I mean? Going from the damsel in distress to the daughter of a samurai, which was a big part of her character. And so, like, you got to think of it, right? Since we got to Wano, Luffy got beaten up and then was in prison. Luffy hasn't really had much to do with the citizens of Wano. Whereas Zoro met the princess, met Yasui, lived with the people, traveled with the people, became friends with the people. You know what I mean? When Yasui was executed, Zoro was, like, out for blood on Orochi, and if it wasn't for Denjiro, he would have gone after Orochi and killed him then and there.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's sort of like Zoro and Hiyori's story needs to be wrapped up with Orochi for this arc. And that's why I think Zoro's getting healed up. Because I don't think Zoro's going to fight King, because I think that would just downplay King too much.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's interesting. There's so much still to cover, and that's the thing. Is like you want the small arc to be really good. Like you just want this arc to have a really cool, well and concise story. But then there's so much going on in the One Piece world that you're also just like, just finish Wano and get to more stuff.
This is officially the longest arc in the series, and not just
It
that.
hasn't felt like it, to be honest.
No, it hasn't. Like I remember, Dressrosa was a drag. Whole Cake Island dragged on at times. This arc has just been
felt like
great.
such a slog. I remember watching episodes of the anime of Dressrosa, and just like it was like 20 minutes, and all they did was like talk about we need to get from here to up on that next floor, without even actually going up to the next floor. They just like talked about like we need to get up there, and then just like 20 minutes of filler, and I was like, what is this arc?
But
Remember the giant nutcracker people with Cavendish?
yeah.
That like
Oh,
episode,
okay.
like, a couple of episodes, I nearly just like stopped watching.
Okay.
It's just nothing happening.
We've seen the Topirobo fight now. Yeah. How does the Grand Fleet captains go against the Topirobo? I know the Straw Hats struggled, but Cavendish, Bartolomeo, how are these people going against some of the Topirobo? I'm pulling up the Grand Fleet.
When they come back in to the story, be a little bit stronger than we saw them in Dressrosa, and then even.
Ooh. You reckon, like, roughly even?
Yeah, roughly even, assuming they've had a small power up from since we've last seen them.
Because we've got 7 Grand Fleet captains. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, okay, the Topirobo are definitely stronger than most of them. The 4... Dude, we've got Cavendish, who... Alright, Cavendish versus Who's Who would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
That actually... that would be a fight I would pay to see. Right?
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Bartolomeo versus... And, you know, okay, remove Drake from the equation. Bartolomeo versus Sasaki or Ulti. Barto could take that.
So could take that because they rely on head charges and they just put up barriers.
Yeah. Barto could take that.
How do you fight against that?
Sai versus one of them, though. Sai might get folded pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen enough of Sai. We haven't seen him get...
He's got Haki, though. And
that's what I mean.
his
Haki's...
Haki's...
He's got Conquerors, doesn't he?
No, he's got regular, but his granddad has Conquerors, so he's got the potential for Conquerors. And his regular Haki is strong enough to overpower his granddad's.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he seems like genuinely like one of the powerhouses of the thing. It's just that he hasn't had enough of a showing, and he doesn't have like a fruit specifically. So he just seems too generic for you to like believe in his strength.
Okay.
I feel like he's got the strength. So like, he'd definitely take page 1 easily.
Page 1 versus Hajrudin, the giant.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good fight. It's just a slogfest, which would be good.
Dude, I actually would be pretty keen on that because, like, for once in his life, Page 1 would be the small guy. You know, he'd be the dwarf in that fight. But Hajrudin, like, the dude lifted 100 ton. So,
yeah,
like...
I think Hajrudin would kind of waste him.
Imagine a right hook from Hajrudin coming down on top of you. That would put you through a mountain. For sure. Oh. Yeah, the Grand Fleet's got to come back and do something soon, eh? Oh, I still am so lost as to when Act 3 is going to end. Like, Oda being like, oh yeah, you know, we're going to see Shanks, you know, this year make a move. And it's like, dude, it's July. Where's Shanks? When you say this year, what time this year? Are you talking December 31st?
What is he doing?
Who knows? Who knows what's going on outside the world in One Piece at the moment? There's like way too much stuff that could like. There's just way too much
I
stuff.
think that's good though. I like the idea of being so absorbed in this battle while so much is changing in the world that like we don't see it, and then when we come out of the battle it's like the whole landscape of the world has changed.
Mm.
Like that feels really cool to me. It's like Luffy like proves himself to be like this joy boy or whatever, like, you know, the strongest creature in the world. He's like almost pirate king level now, and then you just like look out at the world and just everything has gone to crap, and it's like everything's falling apart. And yeah, that feels really cool to me.
Hmm.
Because it's almost like you've gained something by winning this crazy awesome battle, but then you look at the world and it's all just in tatters, and you feel like you've lost anyway.
So I've been watching someone that's been doing a read through of One Piece lately. Can't remember their name off the top of my head, but they're just covered Impel Down, right? And they were saying how Impel Down's so interesting and they love Luffy so much because part of the story with him here has been he's running through the prison and he's not freeing people because he's just like, nah, I've got something else I'm doing. I don't really care about your freedom. So
Oh yeah,
he just runs through like he'll free people when it suits his own agenda, but he won't like free people just to free people. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so like unless he's got a personal um connection with someone, he doesn't help them. But if he does
yeah,
have a
yeah, yeah.
personal connection, he does help them, right? Do you think that's going to change once we find out what the One Piece is? Or are we going to find out the Void Century and expect Luffy to be really mad and go fight the world government and he's just going to say, I don't care, it's not my problem?
I think his whole goal is to become the pirate king so that he's the most free person in the world. I think there'll be a moment of realization that at the same time he becomes one king, the pirate king, and um, becomes the most free person in the world, he finds out how corrupt the world government is and how no one else but him is now free. And he's like, well, I'm the most free person in the world now. I want to make everyone else free as well. And like, it's that going to be like his kind of mindset will change a lot then. And I feel like that's when we're going to see a lot of growth. It's like that's what I think is what's going to make Pirate King Luffy different to the boyish Luffy who's traveling around the world who says, "I want to be the Pirate King." And then like once he actually becomes a Pirate King, he's achieved his goal. He's achieved his freedom. He recognizes that so many people don't have it, and then he kind of like grows up in that moment, and he's like, "Okay, I need to get other people freedom now." And then he becomes like this warrior of justice and all that stuff.
Mm.
And that's when he starts to like act a lot more mature and a lot more serious. And I feel like the tone of the show it'll still have fun gags, but I think it'll be a little bit less like absurdist and a bit more like hardcore. Like we've got to stop all this terrible stuff from happening. I would like to see that at least.
Yeah, alright. Nah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to say the least. Alright, we might wrap up the stream there if you're comfortable calling that there. We've been going for almost an hour and a half now. To anyone watching, cheers for coming by. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for more notifications for content like this. Give the video a like. And if you're feeling extra nice, you can share the video or join the Discord. The link to the Discord is in the description down below. And you can always follow me at New World Super and here down on Twitter and all that good stuff. Until the next video or until the next live stream, peace and have a good one. You got any closing remarks, Daniel?
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Peace. Nothing but love. Nothing but respect. Goodbye.